Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Matt and I do like video games, and in today's video we're here to talk about Halo because there's definitely been some big Halo news over the weekend of all times, but it was HCS, or the Halo World Championship I should say, and they did announce some pretty huge news for Halo going forward. So let's get into the video and discuss. So, in case you're unaware of what's been going on with Halo as of the last 48 hours, Sunday, or last Sunday as I'm recording this, the Halo World Championship was happening, and then the developers there made some pretty big announcements for the Halo franchise going forward. So first up on this list of big announcements is Slipspace Engine is dead. The engine they used for Halo Infinite and consequently the Blam engine, which was every Halo before that, all of that is dead. They're not using the Blam engine. They're not using Slipspace. From now on, Halo will be developed on Unreal Engine 5 going forward. And that is the first bit of news that we got from the developers. The second bit of news is that 343 Industries is no longer 343 Industries. They are now Halo Studios. This is the biggest piece of news, in my opinion. I'll go into why I feel that way. I'm very excited about it. And then finally, the thing I'm most excited about, and I think the thing that everybody is the most excited about, is the fact that Halo has multiple projects in the works right now. So that's very, very good news. And we're going to break it down one by one, but I do want to start with the 343 name change to Halo Studios, because like I said, I think that's a big deal. And this is something that's entirely necessary, and I would even say it's kind of mandatory at this point, because whatever your opinion of 343 is, I know how I feel about them. I loved Halo 4 and I really enjoyed Halo Infinite. So they're 2 for 3 for me. I did not like Halo 5. I did not like it at all. So they're 2 for 3 for me. But for a lot of people, you know, it's very realistic for a lot of people that they're 0 for 3. A lot of people have just a general disdain for 343. And I think the name's kind of tainted. For better or worse, it is what it is. It's kind of tainted for a lot of people. And I think it's kind of just unfair for a team that is mostly consisting of new people, certainly new management at the studio. It's kind of unfair to them to go into this next era of Halo as 343 Industries, because it doesn't matter how amazing your game is. It doesn't matter if you nail absolutely everything. As long as you're called 343 Industries, for some people it's just going to taint the brand. You can make the greatest game ever of all time. It's not going to resonate with people just because of the name. They have negative connotations with the name. And I'll tell you what, one thing I love about the new head of the studio, Pierre Heinz, is last Sunday when this news was announced, that was the first time I ever heard him speak. Ever. I never heard him speak. I didn't even know what he sounded like. I had no idea what he sounded like. This is the first time I heard his voice was last Sunday when he had to make this announcement. Outside of that, he's completely quiet, and he's even said it himself. He doesn't want to be on camera. He doesn't want to do interviews. He's not interested in doing any of that stuff. I mean, compare and contrast that to how it was when Bonnie Ross was head of the studio. And again, I don't want to direct any hate towards Bonnie Ross, because I don't think she's an evil, awful person. She just wasn't the person for the job at the head of the studio. It just is what it is. It's not hate or anything, though. But Bonnie Ross, when she was head of the studio, she was out there all the time. You always saw Bonnie Ross. She always had something to say. And like, it's cool being transparent about stuff, but it was kind of to a fault with Bonnie Ross, where, you know, famously she made promises twice about split screen and Halo and failed both times. It just didn't happen both times. So now we have somebody who's not going to be out there making promises. What they're going to do is they're going to put their heads down and they're going to make the best damn game they can make. And that's exciting, honestly, as a Halo fan. That has me super excited. It feels absolutely awesome. I can't wait to see what Halo Studios does with Halo in the future. Now, up next, we've got to talk about the Unreal Engine 5 news, because this is big. And I'll say it up front, I'm just a tad bit skeptical, in the sense that I need to see how Halo plays. I need to see if they can make it feel like Halo on Unreal Engine, because keep in mind, Halo up to this point has been built on proprietary engines. First it was the Blam engine, and then with Halo Infinite it was Slipspace. And Slipspace honestly is kind of an offshoot and an iteration of the Blam engine. So Halo's been built on the same, for the most part, proprietary engine for the past, since 2001, so for the past 23 years. So it's definitely going to be an adjustment period. It's going to be really interesting to see how they, take the sandbox that we're so used to from Halo games and make that all work in Unreal Engine. It's going to be really intriguing to see how they do that. And I think they can do it for sure. But what has me most excited about the Unreal Engine 5 news is, God, there's so many things, but let's break it down real quick. First of all, Microsoft loves to hire contractors to help with Halo. In fact, anything that they can, they'll hire contractors with, as opposed to just picking out employees and hiring employees full-time or whatever. They love getting contractors, and they love, they're there for like 10, 15, 16 months or whatever, and then they're out of there, right? Well, what's great about this is when you have a contractor coming in, you're not throwing a bunch of stuff at them, telling them, hey, you got to learn a brand new engine that you've never used before. You can just say, hey, Unreal Engine, the most common engine used today in modern gaming? They're like, of course I know that, because every game developer knows that. Well, now you get to build Halo on that engine. So instead of dedicating tons of hours to teaching people how to use Slipspace or the Blam engine or whatever, now you can just be like, hey, we're on Unreal Engine, you know what you're doing, let's build this game. And that should speed up dev timelines, because let's be honest, what was it, a 6-year gap between Halo 5 and Halo Infinite? That's something that should absolutely not be happening with Halo. Halo shouldn't have huge 6-year gaps in between games. That's kind of insane. So it makes sense to get an engine that people are familiar with and speed up the dev timelines for these games. And in this Vidoc that they released, they also mentioned that at one point in the original trilogy, during 2001 to 2010, I think is when Reach came out. During that whole era of Halo was like a visual spectacle. It was this big graphical showpiece. And they've acknowledged that they kind of lost their way with that. Even though I thought Infinite looked really good, especially art style wise, I feel like it wasn't this graphical showcase that, Halo 1 was on the original Xbox, or Halo 2, or Halo 3 on the 360, Halo 3 ODST and Reach on the 360. It wasn't to that level, honestly. And they said it themselves that was one of the reasons they switched to Unreal Engine 5, was because they want to get back to a place where Halo is a graphical showpiece, where Halo sets a bar in graphics. And that's something I'm really excited to hear, because we haven't had that for a while. And obviously, they showed off some renders of what Halo would look like in Unreal Engine 5. And I think it was called Project Foundry, they said. It was just something that they've been working on behind the scenes here and there, putting together their vision for what Halo can look like in the future using this engine. And guys, it looks amazing. It looks really, really good. Like, one of the things I get worried about when I hear, especially next to Halo, when I hear Unreal Engine 5 is, okay, the game's going to look hyper realistic, but is it going to maintain the art? Is it going to maintain the art and the feel of Halo? And again, they only showed concepts and renders and everything, but what they showed, the answer to that question is absolutely yes. They can make that game look hyper realistic, but they can also maintain the art and the direction of Halo, and it looks really phenomenal, guys. It really does. And also, one final thing on these renders, which will lead us into the final topic for today, is they showed an awful lot of Master Chief and some Mark V armor, which is interesting because there have been rumors, I think it started earlier this year, right? Where people were saying, or people were reporting, that 343 at the time is hard at work on a Halo CE remake. And just to back that up a little bit, Pierre Heinz also said about these renders that this isn't a game, but it is their intention that everything you see from those renders will be in either a project that is being made now or a project that will be made in the future. So it is their intention that everything you saw on those renders will be in a Halo game at some point, whether it's the next one, the one after that, or the one after that, or whatever. It will be in a Halo game at some point. And this leads me into the final topic, which is the fact that they said that they have multiple projects in the works for Halo at Halo Studios. And I gave you one of my theories on this, and that is the fact that I think the first project will be Halo CE Remake. I think there's just no possible way that they showed Master Chief that many times in those renders in that exact armor, and they're not making Halo CE Remake. I just refuse to believe that. They have to be making the CE Remake. So that's my first theory. My second theory is going to sound insane, but I promise you I'm going to bring it back together. I'm going to make it work. I promise you. So just bear with me here, okay? There's no reason that Halo as a franchise can't have the same cadence as Resident Evil as a franchise. And I bring up Resident Evil very specifically because think back to 2015. Resident Evil, as far as a lot of fans were concerned of the series, because I have some friends who are pretty big fans in my personal life of Resident Evil, they were pretty much done with Resident Evil in 2015 because it seemed like Capcom just didn't care anymore. And it just kind of seemed like a dead franchise. And then all of a sudden you get Resident Evil 7, right? And people start to take notice. Ooh, that's really good. And then you get Resident Evil 2 Remake, and that's, wow, this is even better. Resident Evil 3 Remake, this is really good. Resident Evil Village, then you get Resident Evil 4 Remake, and now we're going to be getting Resident Evil 9. I think it's 2025 we're getting that. So there's no reason that Halo can't have that same cadence, and I think it sets itself up so perfectly. And let me just lay this scenario out there for you. Let's just assume the first game is Halo CE Remake, right? Well, take what you learned from Halo CE Remake and then move on to Halo 7. And then from Halo 7, Halo 2 Remake. Or better yet, I threw this scenario out there. Imagine a world where they remake Halo 3 ODST and then they give us ODST 2. I would lose my mind. Halo 3 ODST remade in Unreal Engine, a faithful remake to ODST, and then a sequel to follow it up. Guys, I might actually go insane if that happens. It's a possibility. And that's what's so fun right now, is hearing that there's multiple projects in the works, and I can just let my brain go insane thinking about what those projects are. And I've got this prediction, we'll call it. I made this prediction on the TSWS Gaming channel. I'll leave a link to that in the description. But that's my buddy Ham and Loke's channel. Amazing channel. Content like almost every day over there on that channel. So check that out. But I made a prediction over there on a podcast. I said I think that the next Halo game, Halo CE Remake, I think that comes out 11/11/26. And guys, tell me in the comments, do you think I'm crazy? But just hear me out. 11/11/26, the 25th anniversary of Halo. What better way to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Halo and Xbox, consequently, than to have Halo CE completely remade? And here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. Here's how you make it even better, right? You launch it next to your next-gen console. 11/11/26. You launch your next-gen console, whatever that may be. Might be a handheld, might be a console. You launch that with Halo CE Remake. I think that would be so fucking awesome to see. But leave it in the comments. Let me know what you think about that prediction, actually. And also leave in the comments, what are your thoughts on all of this? Unreal Engine 5, what are your thoughts on the new name for the studio, Halo Studios? I'm really excited. Like, all of this news has me pumped, honestly. And it feels good to be excited about Halo again, because it was a rough, we'll call it 2 years, 2.5 years. It was a rough 2.5 years. I didn't have too much excitement for Halo, but it feels like we're back again. It feels like we're back again, and I'm never gonna stop having hope for Halo. Honestly, I'm just not gonna be able to stop that. So it feels good to be back again. But let me know in the comments how you guys are feeling about all this. Leave a like if you like the video, and if you're enjoying this kind of content and you want to stay up to date with it going forward over here on the channel, the best way to do that is consider subscribing, consider ringing that notification bell, because that helps you stay up to date with everything that happens over here on the channel. And it helps promote me. The algorithm helps push the videos out to way more people. And I always, always, always appreciate that. And with that being said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.